Right, next speaker is Kevin Ryder, and he's going to be talking about retention and relationships. Give him a massive round of applause.
Thank you. Not so long back, I sent a post to Gavin that said network marketing is like online dating. You might find the right kind of person online, but you won't find the right kind of relationship till you take it offline. Okay? That's because this is a people business, guys. So what I want to talk about is retention through relationships. So what I'd like you to do is, if you joined network marketing through social media, through the internet, through a job advert online, or you've ever recruited anybody through social media, the internet, or online, I'd like you to stand up, please. Okay, so take a look, that's virtually everybody in the room is now stood up. So you'll always find, or online is a great way of building your business and finding people. Okay? What I'd like you to do now is sit down. If you've only ever communicated with your sponsor prior to today, so if you're here today, but up until now, you've only ever communicated with your sponsor via text, email, or written word, I'd like you to sit down. So if you've never spoken to your sponsor prior to today, I want you to sit down. Okay, so every single one of you at some point has spoken or met with your sponsor or your team. Okay? Sit down if you've been in sit down if you've been in network marketing less than 12 months. So involved in the industry less than 12 months. 2 people just sat down. Okay? It's quite new to the business, right? But they've met and spoke to their sponsor. Mandy, you've been in nearly 12 months, haven't you? August, 12 months. When did you join the business, please?
January the 19th.
January the 19th this year. Fantastic, but you're here a couple of months. Okay? The next one is sit down if you didn't meet, speak, or video call with your sponsor either prior to joining the business, so if you have never spoken to them prior to joining the business, or within a couple of days or a week of joining the business. Alright, so sit down if you didn't meet your sponsor before joining the business or straight after joining the business. So everybody standing today, alright, so if you're all still standing, you either met your sponsor within the first few days, I'll start again. So if you're still standing, you spoke or met your sponsor either before joining or just after joining, you've been in the business 12 months or more, and you all joined via the internet or have recruited via the internet. So the message that I'm trying to get across is that the people who aren't here today are most likely the ones that we've never spoke to, we've never met, and we've never actually had physical contact or communication with. Would you agree with that? Yeah. Alright, there's a very important lesson. Please sit down, guys. So, what are we really selling? We changed that one, we changed. Alright, I should actually say, what is your product? So, what I will ask you again is, what is your product in network marketing?
People.
People. Absolutely. People are your product. Okay? So what is it that we're actually selling? Absolutely right. Absolutely right, Graham. We are selling ourselves. A lot of people think that we sell makeup, sell health products, sell wellness, and that our product is the things in the catalogue and stuff like that. But it's not, guys. What our product is people. You've heard the saying, use the business to grow people, not people to grow your business. And what we're selling, whether that's face-to-face with our customers, whether it's online, whether it's through promoting events, whatever it is, what we're actually selling is ourselves. Okay? Because we want to either belong to a greater team, or we want our team to follow us and duplicate us and do what we're showing them to do. And if we're just doing this through the written word, it doesn't work. Alright, and I'll show you why in a moment. So what's your relationship like with your team members? If you think of the people that you've recruited this year, or the team that you belong to, if you're here just retailing and you're not really interested in building a business, or you're actually building a business, what is your relationship like with the other fellow members in your team? Do you speak to them? Do you meet them? Do you communicate with them? Or is it all via text and videos and chat and messenger and stuff like that? Okay, I just want you to think about how you communicate with your team or the people around you. I want you to bear this in mind, guys. Written communication. Okay? Written communication is determined when you write a message, send a text, send an email, okay? 56% of the people reading that message will read it completely different to what you meant when you sent it. Okay? And I heard this and I thought, right, I'm going to actually do some research and see if this is true. So I looked up on the internet and I asked the question, I can't remember exactly what I asked, but the question was basically around how many people misunderstand written text. Okay, how can it be misinterpreted? And it says, let's start with the message senders. A big problem people have when conveying digital emotion is often that they fail to appreciate there's a problem at all. So they don't realise, they're sending a message and they don't realise there's a problem, they just send it and expect people to understand it. Okay? In one experiment back in 2005, granted, it's a few years ago, okay, since then they've come out with emojis and things like that, but however, an emoji can still be misinterpreted. Alright? In 2005, test participants emailed 10 statements to recipients. Some statements were serious and some sarcastic. So this is basically focusing on people's tonality, how they say something, whether they're being sarcastic or whether they're being serious. Okay? The senders believed that the recipients would correctly identify the intended emotion behind the message. In fact, recipients only identified seriousness or sarcasm 56% of the time. Okay? So if you're actively building your business by just messenger, text, WhatsApp, and you're just sending messages out, you're building your business on the flick of a coin. How serious are you at gambling your business? Because that's what people are doing just by using messenger, text and email alone. And a lot of people do that. Who's here received an email, a message or a text and completely misinterpreted what the sender meant? How many people's had arguments or fallen out with people because they believed something else was meant in the tone of the message? Alright? So it says here, which is 56% of the time, which isn't much better than chance. So you're taking a chance on building your business every time you send out a text, message or email. Okay? So, if we just take this side here, email, what this chart's saying is anticipated accuracy. So this is what people thought would happen. This is what actually happened. Okay, so they thought 78% of people would get it right, and it were only 56% of people who actually got it right. So it continues. Here's the key twist. When the same messages were transmitted through a voice recording, so an audio file or a recording or over the phone, and they could actually hear what people were saying, the recipient interpreted the emotion correctly 73% of the time, massively improving your results just by physically speaking to somebody. And what Jane said earlier about how people are more activated because she now takes it that she speaks to people on the phone and it's a given. It's not a, oh, can I speak to you? It's, right, I will speak to you on Monday. Or I will speak to you in 24, 48 hours of you joining this business. You've joined a business, you've started a job, Now it's my job to make sure you're successful. And you've got to have that certainty, you've got to have that conviction, you've got to have that, it's not a choice. If you want this to work, I'm going to ring you. And then we're going to go through it. Or I'm going to speak to you on Skype or video or Zoom or whatever. But you've got to make that physical connection, because you guys in this room all did. We proved that right at the start. Every single one of you has made a physical or a vocal connection with your sponsor, and that's why you're here more than 12 months. Those that don't aren't here 12 weeks. That's a fact. Okay, otherwise they'd be in this room. Okay, so 73% of the time, just about what senders expect, vocal tones capture the emotional nuance that email couldn't. The researchers believe that when people type out a sarcastic line, they hear it in their heads as sarcastic and thus fail to appreciate that others won't hear it the same way. In other words, our overconfidence when it comes to conveying emotions in email is born through egocentrism. Okay, in other words, it's believing that other people know what you're thinking. And they can't possibly, because it's in your head, it's not on paper. Alright? So, concluded that research team led by the New York University. So to me, what that says is that every time we're sending out a text message, an email, unless it's just a factual statement, if you're trying to influence, if you're trying to motivate, if you're trying to inspire, if you're trying to show compassion, caring, or understanding, you're really struggling with those emotions in a written message. And that can only be done either verbally or in front of somebody. Does that make sense, guys? So you might think it's the easy way and it's the way that everybody does it now, but if you want to build a business, stop flicking a coin, because that's what you're doing. Okay, start physically speaking to people. So 56% of people get the message right. So what's the other 40% doing? 44%. Remember, a message when sent is always read in the mood of the reader, not the mood of the sender. So the other 44% are making it sound like how they feel at that moment in time. So you might have just sent a congratulations message, well done, but if that person doesn't feel very congratulated at the time, or they've had a rough day at home, or whatever, they could quite easily skip over that message and misinterpret it. Alright, it's unlikely if you put congratulations at the start, but what I'm saying is, depending on what the message is and the content of the message, it will purely be read in the mood of the reader, not the mood of the sender. Okay, so you're smiling while sending it, but they might be crying at the other end. Okay, so just be very, very careful. So, audible communication. What's audible communication? Anybody? Something you can hear. Okay, so for you to be able to hear, someone needs to be speaking. What different ways can we send audible communication? Anyone?
Call.
Telephone. Video. Video's audible and visual.
Face to face. Go for a coffee.
Go for a coffee. Yeah, absolutely. We'll come on to that.
Voice message.
Voice messages. Alright. Who's got voice recorder on WhatsApp? Or even on Messenger? Alright. Maybe send a recorded message rather than a written message. It's even easier. Especially if you can't spell like me. Alright. Send a recorded message rather than a written message. Hey, congratulations, top retailers this month. You've done fantastically amazing. In words, hey, congratulations, top retailers this month. You've done amazing. Alright, it's exactly the same words, completely different message. Alright, send a recorded message. Oh, well, wow, you've placed your first order. You've only a few more BP to do until you get your first welcome reward, or you get your first incentive, or you get your first free gift. Or you can put it in a message with a smiley face. Okay? Think about what you're doing. So audible communication, 27% is actually the words you use. 73% is the tonality, the pitch, the pace, the way that you put that message across. Okay? So think about this, guys. You've got, if the word is a pin, the tonality is a stick that pin is fastened to. Okay? So that for example, that word might be congratulations. Or it could be like, congratulations! You're going to feel it a lot more behind a stick, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? So the tonality is the power the word is delivered with, whereas the word is just a tiny part of the message. Okay? So visual communication. Claire, just repeat what you said.
Oh, go for coffee.
Go for a coffee. Yeah. Okay, so visual communication. How can we do visual communication? Go for a coffee. Videos. Zoom. Skype. WhatsApp. Video message. Live. Video call. Now I know many people are afraid of this technology. Okay, and they think, I'm not going live on my phone. But how many people actually run around the house with a hood over their head when visitors arrive? Alright, when they're face to face, they don't worry about it. It's a psychological thing that they think, oh my God, I can't do this. But with a bit of encouragement, with a bit of coaxing, they will get there eventually, alright? And it's all about personal development. I hated standing at the front of a room, believe it or not, when I first started in network marketing. Alright, I had Elvis leg. I was like that. I was terrified. But then I found that I liked it and I enjoyed it and I grew into the shoes, I grew into the thing. First time I ever did a Facebook Live, all I was thinking is, what does everyone else think about me? You know, but now I think that's stuff it. You know, it's not about everybody else, it's about building a business. So, with visual communication, 7%, only 7% is now the words that you use. Okay, what do you think the 38% is?
Language.
Absolutely. Body language. No, it isn't. Sorry. Well done. Wrong percentage. Wrong percentage. 38%. Tonality. 55%.
Body language.
Body language. Absolutely. It's your body language. Okay. I had to look up the word congruency when I was studying personality types and body language and things like that. Congruency is, if you're saying something and your body language totally goes against it, it's not congruent. What you're saying and what you're doing do not match. Okay? So, for instance, I really love your blouse. Oh, I'm really having a great day today. Oh, stuff like that. Okay, I can't think off the top of my head, but basically it's like shaking your head when you're saying something positive. Your body language just doesn't match. Alright? So, what we're going to do is a little exercise. Have a bit of fun. What I'd like you to do is to get into groups of 3. Okay? So please get up, move around. You're not stapled to your chairs. I'd like you to get into groups of 3, please. As quick as you can, guys. Come on. We haven't got long.
I'm not counting this. I'm not counting this. Sorry.
It don't matter if you don't know each other. Okay, come on guys, groups of 3. If they're into 3, you guys can work together anyway. Right, I want you to quickly label yourselves A, B, C and D. So one of you's A, one of you's B, one of Right. Put your hands up, B's. B, put your hand up. Get up, leave the room. Just step out there for me, please. Becky will give you some instructions. A's, I'd like you to come here. C's, I'd like you to come here, please. You're a D? Alright, okay.
We A's.
You just screwed me training. Right, A's, come here.
I'll go to
C's come over here, and the others can be observers, I guess. You're not working through. Alright.
D. I'll just sit here and
Oh, you two can go together and one of you can go out there. It's up to you.
Richard, your name?
B. Right.
Andy. Okay.
We're only using 3 letters of the alphabet, not all 26.
What's you, Richard? You and A? You're
Right.
B's are outside.
Right. Go on, Richard, hurry up. Run. Faster. Good lad. Right, okay, so Carol's going to be a B. A. Come up here. Sorry, Jill, come on, quick, we need to do this, we haven't got long.
Do you know, I'm going to have it tattooed on my head.
Oh, no, you're not the only one.
I've been Elizabeth.
Sure, man. Right, okay. Right, listen, right, A's. They're going to come in and tell you a story. Any story, it doesn't matter. What I want you guys to do is sit there as though it's the most interesting story you've ever heard in your life. I want you to lean in, I want you to listen, I want you to smile, I want you to nod. I don't want you to listen to anything. So I want you to pretend you're listening, but I want you to not try and listen to anything at all. Take nothing in. Alright? So you're not listening to the story, but I want you to give the body language, oh, wow, you know, and pretend you're listening. You guys, I want you to act as though you're not listening at all. Alright? You're distracted, everything else is more interesting than what they're telling you. Alright? And I want you to just play the game. But I want you to listen as closely as you can and remember as much of the story as possible. Alright? But I want your body language to say that you're not listening, you're not interested. And I want you all to note what the speaker does and what goes off within the group. Okay? So when they come back in, they're just going to tell you a story. Alright? So you know what you're doing, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
So get in your groups of 3.
Why did we get the whole thing?
Okay, so B's, you know what you're doing? Yeah?
D as well. B's and D.
Okay, B's and 1D. Right, start sharing your story with your group.
Alright. Okay.
2 minutes.
No, it's alright. Telling you that plan it for August. We're going to put 6 miles to cycle. We're going to drag it on over 5 days. So minimum about 22 miles for maximum amount of 3 miles per day. Side to side, white leave, finishing supplement. There's 4 of us doing it. We've already planned our complete. Get some better room, plans for us. So each day's have to carry a bag, so we have to go to your choice. And I'll take our bag to the next location. The most challenging part is, of course, the movement, so we're not doing those. Okay.
How many guys?
Always run out of things to tell you. It seems a long 2 minutes. I'm guessing that you would put it not to appear interested in anything I've said. You get lots of encouragement from me. Thank you.
Okay, 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 2, 1. Stop there, guys. Stop telling stories. Right, storytellers, stand up, please. Okay. If we come to this lady here first, your name is?
Sam.
Sam?
Yeah.
Sam, tell me what you noticed.
I noticed that Claire was being really receptive and encouraging me and nodding and carrying on, and this gentleman, I don't know his name, was absolutely rude.
Okay,
He wasn't listening to a word I said.
thanks, Sam. Cheers. The lady there.
So, yes.
Sorry, your name is?
Gillian.
Gillian.
I was telling my story and Stephanie was totally listening and she looked like she was listening. Keith wasn't. He was doing something with his pen and taking no notice. That's not really unusual.
Okay, so, yeah. Mandy.
I struggled to baffle long enough, but Jill kept eye contact at all times. Carol, however, was sat looking at her phone, and I could feel Graham eyeballing me as I was talking, so I knew I'd got his attention. But as I say, Carol was busy on the old mobile phone.
Right, okay, Michelle.
Margaret was paying close attention, a lot of head nodding, what have you. Mike was doing as usual, ignoring me.
Okay, and
Jane.
Sheila?
Sheila, that's it.
What Sheila was doing?
We told a story between when these two were lucky to still be alive. Weren't paying any attention. He was stuck his face in the banana. I was confiscating them to get their attention, but no, they've got the attention span of a gnat, both of them.
So, as a speaker, as someone telling the story, who did you find you telling the story to?
Margaret.
The person who's interested. Give me it.
Okay, stand up the person that was interested. The speakers sit down. Stand up the person that was acting, the person who was paying attention, or looked to be paying attention. So Margaret, stand up. Right, guys, you guys are paying attention, yeah?
I think that table got it wrong.
Stand up if you were paying attention. Stand up the person who was eyeballing and the person they were talking to. Stand up the person they were talking to. Alright, what did the person tell you?
But it was about
You've
bike
no idea.
ride. It was some sort of bicycle story.
You've no idea, have you, really? Right, go on.
She's telling me about a rabbit and a hanging basket.
Right.
A story about getting home.
Okay.
I know I wasn't supposed to listen, but I was. It's about a cat and a
Margaret. Right, so the person who was looking like they were listening, sit down. The person who was acting like they were ignorant and couldn't be bothered what they were telling us, what were they telling us, David?
I think I was thinking so much about what can I do to show that I'm not interested that I wasn't actually listening.
You screwed up. Sit down, David. Colin.
Yeah, I was acting uninterested, but I was taking it all in.
Try and tell us what you
We
can.
were both born within the same area.
Wasn't listening.
Right. Should have been
Not
the women
giving
that stayed
clear,
here.
not giving clear instruction to the men, have you?
I lived on the same street as
Mark, save me.
Shell was on about a cute little bunny rabbit hopping across the grass,
Yeah.
and her daughter Amy asked for a rabbit for her birthday when she was little,
Right. Okay.
and Shell said no, she couldn't have one.
Brilliant.
But the cat brought a rabbit home, a wild rabbit, that very day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a wild rabbit, only little, and I don't think she ended up getting a rabbit to in the end, a proper rabbit, but anyway, her husband had to go and put this wild rabbit back into the field. The cat had brought home, and ever since then Amy's been called a witch.
So you were listening. Fantastic. Okay, Carol, save me, being a woman and all.
Andy's looking forward to going home today.
Speak up, Carol, sorry.
Mandy's looking forward to going home today.
Guys.
She's her husband's at work, so he'll come in later. But she's looking
going to get a meal for him. And her son might ask to go out today, but she's been having problems with him, I think, from thinking between the lines. And I don't know, that's about it, really.
Fantastic, fantastic. And, sorry, I don't know your name. Keith.
I am a little deaf and never hear the wife anyways.
Right, okay. Well,
she did mention about rabbits, it was windy, the hanging baskets were blowing and stuff were constant, they may fall and hurt the rabbits.
fantastic. Right, joking aside, some of you might think, oh well, I screwed up there, but you didn't. Because that's exactly the whole point, that your body language determines also your focus and your interest. So those of you who were pretending to be interested, how hard is it not to listen when you're actually pretending to be interested? So even if somebody is boring you, change your posture, change your stance, and actually show that you're really interested, and it is really hard not to listen. But those of you who were instructed to listen, but then pretend, those of you who were instructed to listen, but actually act as though you weren't listening by being ignorant or being distracted, how hard is it to listen and do something else at the same time? Gentlemen.
Yeah.
Okay, it was really bad that you were all blokes. I should have swapped some around. If you're like, blokes trying to do one thing and listen, it's just not going to happen. But that's a bloke thing.
We know that men can't
But do you know what? Do you know what? That is also true, and I only know that through studying personalities and studying people, that men really do struggle to listen if they're doing something else. That's why to get a man to listen, you have to make sure he's looking at you. 99% of the time, make sure he's looking at you and you deliver the message 3 times. All right?
Kevin, I've learned.
7.
I need to speak to him, look at him, give him a pen and paper, and make him write down what I say.
That's it. Honestly, guys, if you think this is interesting, just as a byproduct, go onto YouTube and look up The Tale of Two Brains. The Tale of Two Brains. There's a short version that will just give you an insight, and there's a 2-hour version that will completely educate you. And if you've got trouble with your relationship after watching that, you'll know why you've got trouble with your relationship. It's brilliant, honestly, seriously. Okay, so you understand the importance of body language. You understand the importance of actually meeting somebody and talking, and the difference between just using words or just using the written word, speaking to somebody, and actually being sat with somebody. So this is because people have what we call 3 primary modalities. Now this can be, if you know what you're looking for, it can be picked up in the written word, it can be picked up in the audible word, and it can be picked up while speaking to somebody face to face. Now the first one is, many people are visual. I'm a visual person. You'll find that because I speak quickly, because the pictures in my mind go faster than what I can speak. So I speak quickly, miss out a lot of stuff, because I delete things that I feel aren't necessary to talk about to get the message across, but I don't realise that other people are not picking up on those deletions. So I think they know what I'm saying. Also, when I talk, I'll talk like things like, oh, it's great to see you here today. Attending this meeting today has made things so much more clearer for me. I can really visualise my future now and see where I'm going. Do you see what I'm talking about? Okay? Whereas some people are auditory, and they'll say, oh, it's great to be here today. I've learned so much by what people have told me. It sounds amazing, this experience, and it really resonates with me. And they're auditory. And it will be in their written word. It'll be in their spoken word. And other people are kinesthetic, and they really like to get a handle on the situation, and they're very feeling orientated. And they like to meet people and touch people, and they're the kind of people who want to be belly to belly, face to face. And they'll talk much slower as well, because they're feeling orientated. So understanding that people are different and they use 3 primary modes of communication, when you're talking to somebody, it's a lot easier to pick up. It's a lot easier to pick up their modality when you can actually hear them and speak to them, because it's very hard to find in the written word. You miss it. Okay. So, new team members, people who's new to a team, speak to your sponsor every day. Alright? I recommend speaking to them every day, especially in the early days. Alright? Let them know what you've been doing. Alright? If you're wondering what do I speak to my sponsor about, just let them know what you've been doing. Usually if you're not speaking to your sponsor, it's because you've not been doing anything. Alright? And you think, what can I talk about? But still, it doesn't have to be about work. It doesn't have to be about Oriflame. Just start making a friendship, because you'll find that you'll last in the business a lot longer, and that you will actually stick around longer to find the information that you need in order to build your business and start making progress. Let them know what is going well or not so well. All right, don't be afraid to say what's going wrong. Your sponsor's there to help you, because quite often we think things are going wrong and it's just part of the natural process. And to hear your sponsor say, hey, don't worry about it, it happens to everybody, you know, we all go through this stage, then you start thinking, oh, it's not just me then, I'm not just on my own here. But your sponsor doesn't know you're going through that stage if you don't speak to them. Let them know how you're feeling. Let them know how you're feeling about any sort of given situation. It might have been that you picked up your catalogues and you've had a really good pickup and you're really excited and positive and you didn't realise it was going to be so good. Or it might be that you've got wet and you're feeling a bit down because it rained today and some of your catalogues got soggy. Or it might be that you've placed orders online and somebody's ordered lots of stuff and you're feeling great. Or it might be that you've sent out lots of recruitment posts and you've only had a couple of leads. But being able to share those feelings with your sponsor helps them to be able to coerce and nurture you through the normal chain of events and how things happen. Share your experiences on Facebook Live, recorded message and videos. This is rather than just typing a message on your Facebook groups or stuff like that, get into the habit of, if it helps and you don't want to do a live, just record yourself on your phone first until you feel it's right and share it. But it's all steps in building your confidence. I know I used to record messages because I wanted to be able to edit them in case I'd made a mistake. Alright, or I wanted to cut bits out or say, oh, I don't like that, I want to record it again. I think, Margaret, when you first started doing videos, you recorded them, didn't you? Because you wanted them to be right. Okay?
And then it becomes easy.
Then it becomes easy, and eventually you stop worrying about it. But unless you take those first steps in doing videos anyway, it can feel nervous. Some people just jump straight in and do it and they don't care, and that's fine. That's absolutely great. But when other people start seeing you do it, then other people will do it as well. Monkey see, monkey do. Be an active member in the team to grow in confidence. So for new people that's watching this or anyone in the room, the more active you get in the network, the more active you get in the groups, the more you start to build in confidence. Because when you see people commenting on your posts and saying, well done, great video and stuff like that, you're like, oh, I'm going to do another of them. Right? When someone first comes to the front of the room, they can't get off quick enough, most people. But once they've done it a couple of times, you're dragging them off with a hook. Right? Because they just don't shut up. Because they're like loving it, the confidence. Sponsors, guys that's building a business. Okay? Get in front of your people face to face. It is the best way of building a relationship, and relationships create retention. People come along because they've made friends. Right? Even if they're not building a business, many people come along because they like to meet their friends. It doesn't matter why someone joins this business. It doesn't matter if they're doing nothing with it. If they're coming to an event, you have more chance of something lighting that spark than what you have if they don't come along anyway. So if we're just messaging people on social media, it actually becomes quite antisocial because you've not got that connection. Alright? It's easy to just delete that message or I'll read it later or whatever. Try and make the effort to get older people on the phone or send them a video or a recorded message. It works a lot better. And if that's still not working, sponsor more people. Because that's the bottom line. If you sponsor enough people, you'll find the ones that respond to your messages. Build a relationship, get to know them, go for a coffee. It doesn't have to be work all the time. Just go have a drink with them, go make a friend. If they're at distance, obviously you've got to use Zoom and things like that, unless you can get them to an event and then make a beeline to bring them in and make them feel special and make them feel welcome. If they're local, 10, 15 minutes, half an hour drive. I used to drive an hour just to do an appointment that people did turn up to. Alright, in the previous network, I used to do that all the time because we didn't used to do it over the phone or over the internet. It was always face to face. But those people that did show up tended to stick around a lot longer because they'd actually met you and built a relationship with you. Encourage people to share their success on Facebook via videos or voice recordings or webinars. If you have a team member who does their first order, ring them up or speak to them, try and get hold of them again using Jane's certainty, is speak to them and say, hey, well done, brilliant, you've done your first order. Look, can you do me a favour? Would you just put a little story in our group on video about your first order? It doesn't have to be all special, all fancy, just say what you did, how you got it and how it made you feel. That's it. So all they're saying is, hey, I stuck a catalogue out, or hey, I put a post on Facebook, my mum ordered and I felt great. And that can be first bit. And then build on that from there, as long as they're laying the foundations. The thing is, other people will see that message in the group and they'll be inspired by it more than a word that says, hey, put a catalogue out to my mum, she ordered and I felt great. And then loads of people stick thumbs up. Okay? Invest in your team. Your team are like a bank account. If you expect to draw from your team and get something from your team, you need to invest in them in the first place and put something into them. If you don't put anything in, there's no way you're going to get anything out. Okay? So work hard. We've become lazy within network marketing. The internet and social media has made us become lazy in lots of ways because it's easier. And people will always take the least line of resistance. They'll always do what comes easy. But when you put in more effort, when you put in more time, that's when you get the better results. Just look here on the retail side of the business, and sponsoring, but on the retail side, top retailers, because they do more than most people. Okay? Edify your upline and the system. Whenever you're speaking to your team members, always, always, always edify your upline. Speak highly of them. Okay, don't get into discussions and gossip and one thing or another about your upline, about the system, about the business, about the industry. You never know who's listening. Okay, so always talk highly of your upline and the business and the system. Always be positive. Yeah, we all have days where we feel down. Hippo time, as Sumo Guy calls it. If you don't know what I'm referring to, there's a great book called Sumo Guy. Shut up and move on. Again, he refers to hippo time. We all have time when we're down and stuff, but try and be positive most of the time. Alright, focus on the solution, not the problem. Identify the problem, whatever it may be, but then focus on the solution. Don't keep focusing on the problem. And promote all events and always attend them yourself. You can't stay there telling people that they need, or advising people that they need to go to a seminar or a workshop or a sizzle or a Zoom call if you're not going there yourself. I appreciate people have work and things like that, but if you can be there, then be there. Alright? If you can get childcare, get childcare. If you can car share, car share. Do whatever you can to get there and try and get your team along as well. Okay? So that's me. That's more or less me.